Hey everyone, welcome to this pick a card reading about how to awaken more magic within you and how to make your everyday life feel more meaningful in general. Before you jump to the 4 card piles that you can choose from, let me just preface this by saying that, of course, this is a pick a card reading. So it is, as always, take what resonates with you, leave the rest. Not every message might be for you, but maybe it is interesting for you to watch one of the piles or all of the piles if you want to see my reading style. And that's it, essentially. If you want to get a reading with me, they are available on my shop, anyaesma.com. And I also have a Patreon where I do readings like this every month, like general energetic reads, but also affirmations, journaling prompts, and so much more to help you read tarot for yourself, help you with your shadow work, your self reflection, and just in general feeling connected with yourself in your everyday life rather than feeling disconnected. So those were the introductory words. Let me quickly tell you what this video is going to be about. Of course, you can choose one of the 4 piles. I will show them to you in a second. And we are going to, in this video, talk about what existing part of your life has more magic than you might know, how you can bring more magic into your life. What is the most magical thing right now that you have in your life that you can maybe appreciate a bit more as well, and also what your magical strengths are that you might want to tune into a little bit more, and how you can awaken that feeling of magic, of purpose, of meaning within yourself at the moment. As I said, it's a general reading. As usual, I will go very much in depth and very much into the depths of our minds, essentially, because that's just my reading style. It's not so much about will he come back to you or whatever. It's not going to be like that. It will very much be about what you can do, what empowerment you have within your soul, within yourself, within your mind, your spirit, your body, and how you can tune into that and find more magic in that. So, without further ado, choose a pile, whichever one calls to you. You can also, of course, use a a random number generator. That usually helps me if I feel like my intuition is a bit lacking, but you can also just take the time, look at the piles, and see which one you like. This is going to be a tarot and a rune reading. Every pile comes with a rune, so that will go into that as well for those of you who love runes, as I do. And yeah, choose your pile, stop this video if you need some more time, and then we're going to start. Welcome, group 1, to your reading. You chose the first pile, and we're going to get right into it. I would recommend that while watching this or before watching this, you take a deep breath. You can do that with me, without me, stop the video, whatever you need in order to get into the right headspace to get the messages that might be helpful for you. You can also take notes, obviously. If that is your jam, you could also draw cards alongside me if that is your jam, or you just lean back and just let your intuition flow into this and see what is relevant to you. So the first card that we're going to draw is going to be what existing part of your life can you find more magic in? And we have a jumper. Ooh, nice. We have the Queen of Cups right here. I love that. And I'm going to also draw a clarifying card alongside that from my Poesis Oracle to get an even more specific message. So with the Queen of Cups, of course, we have an energy of flow. We have an energy of ease. We have an energy of letting your emotions happen and letting your emotions flow in the direction they want to flow. But since it is the queen and not the page or the knight, we also have the idea of emotional regulation here. So I'm sensing that maybe you are especially good at that, or maybe you are improving at it at the moment. And we have the card Seek that goes with it. Let me show you both of those cards. So we have the Queen of Cups and we have the Seek card. With the Seek card, you can see maybe if it's not too far away that there's someone on a boat with a, I don't know what that is called in English. I'm German, I'm not native. Binocular, I suppose, like something that looks far away. And I feel like this is a little bit of a nudge to not look so much at what is very, very far away from you, but look at what is close to home, because your magic is more close to yourself than you might think. Even if we feel like we are not in our magic at the moment, even if you might think your days feel a bit meaningless or purposeless, then these cards are reminding you that that is not the ultimate truth. The Queen of Cups is essentially a sovereign over her own emotions. So this is asking you to consider, how are you keeping your own emotions in check, so to speak? Because yes, we have emotions and it is very important to make space for them, but we are not our emotions. You are not your feelings. You are not your thoughts. You can actually have a matter of not necessarily control, but a matter of, strength around your own emotions. And looking at that, I think it's important that you feel empowered and not like they are sweeping over you. So I will draw another card from another deck to ask how you can feel more empowered in relation to your emotions, because I feel like that is truly where a lot of the magic lies and where it is hidden. That if you are able to maybe get into a more positive space or regulate your emotions more, you will be able to enjoy life more and see the magic around you more. Let's look at that. Whoa, we have the Wheel of Fortune. That's really exciting. So, with the Wheel of Fortune, we have a little bit of a not random, but a very fluctuating energy. So this is kind of looking like you might sometimes be struggling with exactly what I was saying, those waves of emotions that just come over you and they feel random and they feel like you cannot really have any influence over them. I've certainly been there where you you wake up in the morning and maybe you don't quite feel like yourself, maybe you don't quite feel positive. And I think the most magical thing that you will very quickly discover is the magical thing ever, is that you have way more governship over your mind than you think. If you start your day thinking positive things, if you start your day writing down your thoughts for as long as it takes for them to become positive, because not every thought is going to be positive in the beginning, but a lot of the time after you write for a while, you will kind of get rid of all of those negative thoughts in your mind, and then the positive can come in. And that is the true magic of spiritual work. And it is work because our minds are telling us, like, no, these emotions, they need to be felt, they need to be there throughout the whole day. If you are in a bad mood, then that's just how it is. But it's not. The bad mood is telling you that there's something that you're not addressing. And journaling in the morning straight away, taking real time to yourself before rushing to work or anywhere else, is the most powerful thing you can do, because then your emotions are kind of a clean slate for the day, at least a little bit more of a clean slate than usual. And also, you could do energetic practices. I feel like that is some magic that might be helpful for you if you want to cleanse yourself in the morning. Because I don't know what it's like for you, but I have a lot of very vivid dreams. And sometimes I feel like I've been in 10 different dimensions and I kind of need to call my power and all of the parts of my soul back to myself. And as you call them back in meditation or by literally drawing them back with your hands and pushing out of your energy field what you don't need. By doing that, you will notice that your emotions become a lot more regulated and your nervous system doesn't have such a strong reaction to everything, maybe. So that's kind of what I'm seeing here, that this is the magic that is needed in your life right now. I'm going to also ask, what is the most magical thing in your life right now? Um, yeah, let's ask that. What is the most magical thing in your life right now? Let's see, I feel like it's two cards actually. So we have the Hermit and the Two of Cups. Okay, this is giving me the vibes of an enclosed space of safe emotional expression. And it kind of seems like maybe you are already on this path of exploration with your emotions, with your feelings, encountering them more. And the Two of Cups doesn't necessarily have to be about a partner. It can be, but it can also be about you being there for yourself and going into dialogue with your inner child, your inner parts, whatever part needs love right now. And I feel like the Hermit is showing that this needs to happen in a safe and close space and is already happening. And that is where a lot of magic lies for you. So if none of this resonates with you and you're like, I don't know, I don't really struggle with my emotions, or I don't think I do, I haven't really worked on that, then maybe it's worth looking into. Or maybe this reading isn't for you. That's also entirely possible, but you could still take it as a little bit of an inspiration to take that time with those parts of yourself and just ask your inner child what it's feeling. Just ask your inner teenager, your inner 7-year old, what it is feeling and what is happening with it emotionally right now. Because, as I said, those emotions that sweep over you, there's so many reasons they can be there. It can be that you didn't have a proper morning routine and you feel like there is too much going on in your head from the night. It can be that, your inner child, your inner teenager are feeling something. There's a need, there's a lack inside of you, and that is manifesting as a feeling and it wants your attention and you cannot quite put your finger on it. Or it could be, of course, an emotion that is triggered by something around you, and you can really look at what is it that made this wave of emotions come over me. And that is a magical thing, because I think, what is magic? Magic is that we feel like our life has meaning, that we feel like we have a sense of empowerment in our life, that we feel like our life has a purpose. And I think that is so much easier to see and to feel that magic within yourself if you have a connection to yourself. So that's what these cards are speaking about at the moment. Now, let's ask the next question, which is very specifically, how can you create more magic in your life? I'm going to draw another card for that. How can you create more magic around you, more magic in your life, and draw in more magic? Let's take this one then. Ooh, we have the 10 of Wands. And that's an interesting one because straight away I have to think of the rune that I drew for you. The rune that I drew for you is Evas, and Evas means horse. But more specifically, if we look at the meaning of the horse, it means movement, it can mean travel, it can also mean restlessness, and it can also be related to boundaries, because interestingly, in very sparsely settled areas, you would just set the boundary of your home by the amount of space you could cover on horseback within a day's ride. So within a day's ride, you circled your home, and that was the boundary of your home. I think that's a really interesting fact. And that's why Evas, the horse rune, also stands for boundaries. It can also stand for stagnation. And I feel like bringing more magic into your life with the 10 of Wands means that there is a restlessness for you to want to achieve something. I want to get more specific, so I will draw a clarifier, but let me explain. The 10 of Wands is all about overburdening yourself. And a lot of the time, overburdening ourselves. Why do we do that? We do it because we think we are maybe unworthy if we do not carry so much burdens. We think that it makes us more lovable if we take care of so many things and so many people around us. We think that it gives us intrinsically some sort of value as long as we do things. And that's why I think the horse rune, the idea of restlessness and maybe even lack of boundaries, comes in here. So bringing more magic into your life, and one of them jumped out, could be about setting more boundaries and unburdening yourself a little bit. I drew a card from the Poesis Oracle to be a bit more specific about the 10 of Wands here. And the card that we got is birth. And we have here a person lying on their back, and then there's plants growing out of their belly. So my intuition is kind of nudging me in the direction that you might be having some sort of creative project, something that you want to give birth to, but it feels like a burden because there's so many other things going on. But it is exactly this creative idea, whether it is a DIY that you want to do, something you want to change about your apartment, a YouTube channel you want to start, a book you want to write, anything creative, really, a painting you want to paint. That is exactly how you will get more magic into your life. But you can only get that if you understand that that restlessness you feel is because maybe you feel some sort of lack of value within yourself. So bringing more peace and calm into your everyday life by setting stronger boundaries, being more honest with how many mental and, energy resources you actually have is very important right now, so you don't end up overburdened with the 10 of Wands here, and so that you can have the space in your mind and in your heart and in your soul to really create that creative thing you've been thinking about. So I'm feeling a lot of sort of blockage here, like in one area, a little bit of a creative blockage from being overwhelmed by doing other things all around the house, around your friends, around your family, around anything. And on the other hand, maybe a lack of boundary with your emotions. And that is a very common thing, that when you don't have enough boundaries towards other people and for your own well-being, it will kind of manifest itself in these waves of emotions that come up, because our body is like, hey, you're not taking care enough of me, you're not listening to me enough, you're listening to everyone else, you have the 10 of Wands here, you're taking on too much, and I need you to listen to me. And that's why I'm sending you these waves of emotions that come up, whether it is sadness, anger, or anything else. Let me get more specific about that, because I feel like this idea of boundless emotions is very meaningful here. So let me draw a card what these emotions might be about. What might those emotions be about? Those emotional waves that you might be feeling, or that you might be suppressing actually as well, but they are there. Let's take this card. Ooh, okay. We have a beautiful card. It's the Freedom card. And with freedom, I get the sense that maybe, sorry, I completely lost track there. I think there was something else coming to my mind. With the Freedom card relating to the waves of emotions, I think that you might deep inside have a feeling of being trapped or suppressed by something, which is kind of what the 10 of Wands is giving as well. But there is an immense magic once you let those emotions out and then learn to take care of them better, rather than, having them flood your mind, maybe even letting those emotions out, I don't know, yelling at other people or being a little bit spicy towards other people. Suppressed emotions tend to come out sometimes in passive aggression as well. And those emotions are looking for freedom, and you are looking for freedom. And the fun thing about us as humans is that we have free will. And often we tend to forget that somehow. We're like, oh no, I can't do this, I can't do that. Um, I have to do XYZ, I should do XYZ. But these cards are reminding you that your free will is the magic that you possess, the biggest magic, that you can set boundaries with other people if you need to, that you can reconnect with yourself and feel like, where are my boundaries anyway? I don't even know what I need. I don't even know what's going on at the moment. There's so much. And especially when we are in this feeling of restlessness, going back to the horse rune here, restlessness, we often feel like, well, right now I don't have time for meditation. Right now I don't have time for breathing. I don't have time to regulate my nervous system. I don't have time to calm down. I have to do everything. And those are the times where you especially need to take that time for yourself, to calm yourself and to find your magic again. Because this reading is not saying like you don't have magic. I mean, we all have magic, so it wouldn't say that. But it's saying that it's all there, but you just need to engage with it more. You need to make more space for it. And just feeling your emotions and letting them out is not necessarily making space for magic all the time. Sometimes these emotions need to be understood, they need to be taken care of, rather than thinking that that's all the spiritual work it takes. It takes more than that. It takes the journaling, it takes maybe tarot cards, it takes engaging with your inner child, engaging with inner parts of yourself that might be having these emotions of anger, of sadness, of anything, or also of, I want to be free. And once you tune more into that, you will find more magic. I also want to draw one last, no, that's actually not the last one. It's the second to last one. Um, I want to see what magical strength lies within you. And that strength can relate to your purpose. It can relate to anything really. It's just a matter of, whoop, here we go. Ooh, I like that. All right. It is the King of Coins. And the King of Coins gives me the sense that even though within yourself you have all this water energy, all these emotions, all of these big waves, that you don't carry that outward so much, and that other people see you as kind of an icon of rest and of calm, even though you have this inner restlessness, maybe, and that plays a big role for you right now. Um, People don't perceive you like that. And I think you need to give yourself more credit for that calmness that you emanate, but also the calmness that you have within yourself. Because if we are people who, idealize this, oh, I want to be calm, I want to be perfect, I want to be put together like the King of Coins, I want to have everything under control, then even when just the slightest thing happens, the slightest small emotion that is out of the ordinary, or that is more intense than usual, we're like, oh no, we need to keep it under control. I need to portray this image of calm to everyone. So that is what you might need to let go of a little bit. You don't need to seem like the strong person for everyone around you. You can also cry in front of other people. You can tell other people that you're struggling. You can tell other people that you are overburdened, that you need better boundaries because it's taking a toll on your emotional well being. And all of that is entirely possible. And with that strength of yours, that calmness, I think you also have the ability to set good boundaries. You just have to do it. And with this being your magical strength, with the magical strength being the King of Coins, I feel like it's saying you are great actually at setting boundaries once you find your footing. And that footing might be missing right now. You might be in a space of like, holy moly, so much is going on. I lost connection with myself. Once you regain that connection with routines and with taking care of yourself, you will regain that connection and also regain the ability to set good boundaries because you will be in tune again with what you actually need. Yes, That's it. Wow, that was really intense. But I also want to leave you with one last card, which is a goddess card. I have this goddess oracle that I enjoy a lot, and I'm just going to quickly draw a card for you here so that maybe you have some spiritual backup if you work with gods and goddesses. So let's see what comes out. I feel like it's this one. Ooh, my favorite. Gives me goosebumps. Persephone, of course, Persephone. So, Persephone, of course, is the queen of the underworld in Greek mythology, along with Hades. How do you say that in English? In German, we say Hades. But yes, Hades, I think you say. Um, and she is so much about that juxtaposition of spring and winter, of I'm going like into creative mode, I'm blossoming, I have all of these ideas in me, versus I'm going into the underworld, I'm going into hibernation, because she lives half of the year above ground and half of the year below ground in the underworld. So we have this juxtaposition here that I've also seen in the rest of your cards. And I think that your struggle might be, as I said with the King of Discs, that right now you feel like you need to keep it all under control and always be above ground, always seem like you're above ground, always seem like you're in control. But there's more to life than that. There's the whole underground, and you have a talent, you have a magical talent of engaging with these things within yourself and of finding connection with yourself through your emotions. If you let that happen, if you do the journaling, if you do all the things that I've said already. So that's where the most magical part of your life lies right now, and how you can awaken more magic and more connection within you if you make space for accepting that you are not just perfect, you are not just the king of discs that is always calm and has everything under control. There's so much more inside of you. And engaging with that, looking into that, playing around with that is how you will unlock a new level of magic and a new level of meaning in your life. If you like this, as I said in the beginning, I do have a Patreon. I do sell private readings as well. If you want more insight, that's on my shop, anyaesma.com. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, Group 1. See you next time. Welcome, Group 2, to this reading. You chose the second pile, and we're right now going to look into how you can awaken your magic and find more magic in your life. I'm going to start off the reading by asking, what existing part of your life can you find more magic in? Where lies more magic than you might think right now? I love that when the tarot shows us things that were hidden to us before. So what part of your life can you find more magic in? You can breathe deeply. You can take notes if you want. Oof. A few cards popped out. 4, actually. Let's take a look at that. We have the Page of Swords. We have Lucifer. That's a card that only this special deck has. We have the Queen of Cups. And we have the Six of Discs. So what I'm feeling here, especially with the Six of Discs and the Page of Swords, is that you are someone who stands up a lot for other people and who cares a lot about justice. You care a lot about justice. It is something that is very close to your heart to consider. Is everyone in your family, or maybe your job, your workplace, or your friend group, is everyone being treated fairly? Are you being treated fairly? And then you trying to sort of restore that equilibrium of justice. And that can be a difficult task, I can say from experience. And you sometimes feel like you're the bad one, which I love that the Lucifer card came up, because that gives me that vibe as well. that sometimes we are a little bit demonized for trying to bring justice because other people do not quite understand what we're trying to do. And if you can really vibe with that, this reading is definitely for you. If you can't right now, then keep watching. Maybe there's a message that's relevant to you. But I think thinking about your sense of justice as a blessing rather than as a curse is very important, because sometimes it can feel like a curse where we're like, we need to do everything morally correct and I need to do everything just in alignment with my own moral values and everyone else needs to be treated fairly. That can be a big burden on your shoulders, but it is also where your magic lies. And with the Queen of Cups coming up here, I also feel like you can handle that pretty well. You handle all of the emotions that come with that pretty well. And that is something that makes you seem very impressive to others. And that is really where your magic lies and where you should appreciate that more and not be like, well, everyone could do this or everyone could stand up for someone. Not everyone does, but I do it. So I'm the dumb one who always gets all of the heat from everyone and is caught in the crossfire. But that's not what this is about. It's about you recognizing that there's true magic in that, that there is true magic in your ability to bring justice and to stand up for others and to say clearly what you see. Because the Page of Swords is sometimes about it's always about saying what you mean and saying what you think, sometimes in the wrong scenarios. Sometimes, if nobody asks you, you might still give your opinion. But that's exactly what justice is about, because most people don't say anything when it's about justice, and you do. And that is a very, very important strength of yours. I feel like that was crystal clear. The second question I want to ask, though, to get more specific, is what is the most magical thing in your life right now, besides that ability of yours to bring justice that needs a bit more appreciation from you and that you need to recognize as magical a bit more? What is the most magical thing in your life right now? Ooh, I have the Empress, very beautiful. I want to draw a clarification card from my Oracle deck as well, because with the Empress, we have a beautiful energy of creation, but also of harvest. And maybe that already gives you an idea as I'm saying that. If I'm speaking about the most magical thing in your life right now, and I'm saying it's about creativity, it's about harvesting what you've put a lot of work into, maybe that already gives you an idea, because sometimes we don't see the magic in the things we do, and it's really important that we do. So let's be more clear on, oh, okay. The card that I drew from the Poesis Oracle is literally magic. And you have three people sitting in a circle here, holding up their hands and kind of having an energetic sphere in the middle. So it kind of looks like a circle of women or a circle of people at least. And with these two in combination, I feel like you're kind of on a roll. I feel like you are maybe organizing events for other women, or you have a plan to organize events for other women to come together, or even not necessarily women, but just people in general. Witchy people, magical people, people who are kind of on the same spiritual track as you are. And that is the most magical thing in your life right now, which absolutely makes sense. So if you are doing this, you are probably like, obviously, that's the most magical thing in my life. But I think it's really cool that the cards are showing that. And if you don't vibe with that, if you don't really see yourself in that, um, I think that you could think about whether it might be a good idea to get together with people more and do magical things. Talk about your feelings, journal together, meditate together. Um, I'm someone who never does this. I rarely do magical workings with other people, but with these cards, I feel like you are kind of the centerpiece of that. It could also be that it's not necessarily about other physical people around you, but also people who have maybe left us, or spirit guides or whatever you believe in, goddesses, gods. I will also draw a goddess card for you later, so maybe that sheds some more light onto that as well. But yes, those are the things that I'm seeing, that maybe communion with whatever you believe in, um, your ancestors, your spirit guides, gods and goddesses, is something that is super magical in your life right now if you tune into it and if you let the magic happen. And I think, well, let me draw another card first. Let's draw how you can create more magic around you. How can you create more magic around you in your life right now? I have to say, with group one, we did not have so many like clear, you know where your magic is. And with group one, we had a little bit of a rockier start of first needing to learn and see where that magic even lies. And I feel like you are much more, I don't want to compare, that always sounds stupid, but I think you're more in tune with what your magical strengths are and where your magic um, comes from, where you want to funnel it, where you want to use it. So, what is the most magical thing in your life right now? Let me draw this one. Ooh, and we have the Queen of Pentacles. Sorry, that was not, I said the wrong question. The question was, how can you create more magic around you? I was thinking the right one. So, Queen of Pentacles is like, all of these cards that I've seen are super out of body. They are about communication with others, telling others, like maybe you're someone who, as I said, wants fairness all the time, tells others what is right, what is wrong, tries to coach others, does either women's circles or does communion with their spirit team quite often, or their ancestors. And what's missing from this is the Queen of Pentacles, is the embodiment. So I feel like the cards are saying creating more magic is going to need you to work more with your body. What does that mean? What does that look like? It can look like regulating your nervous system more often by, doing nervous system exercises like stroking yourself, hugging yourself. That brings a lot of peace that you cannot get from just meditation and thinking about relaxation. It can also mean breathing exercises in general. It can mean strengthening your muscles a bit so you feel more stable in your body and don't feel like you're walking weirdly or have a lot of pain in your body. It can mean getting massages. It can mean going into the bathtub and giving yourself a massage, or just chilling in the bathtub. It can, of course, also mean engaging with other people in activities. I cannot say any more on YouTube, but being embodied in your body fully with other people, or one other person or more, if you're into that. So that's kind of what I'm getting that you need in order to create even more magic in your life, because you have the mental part down, the emotional part, the part where you engage with others with magical activities. But you also need that, somatic part, because a lot of our bodies hold um, old emotions that only come out when you, for example, have bodily experiences, tense up certain muscles, relax certain muscles. And I think it's really important that you sort of get into somatic practice more. That will give you more magic. Now, one more question, actually two more questions. I want to talk about what magical strength lies in you that other people definitely see and you may not. I feel like the first question already gave us a clue, that it was all about, your sense of justice, your ability to set boundaries, your logic, and you being able to regulate your emotions. So, what is a magical strength that lies within you beyond that? Hmm. I feel like it's three cards again. You're getting a lot of cards. They just like, they just all want to come out. Oof. Wow. Okay. We have the Page of Cups. We have the Well, which is a card that is exclusive to this deck. And then we have the World. And I'm really amazed by all of these cards that you get. I think with the Well, usually this card is all about creativity and being very, 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 very tapped in, because the well, it goes down into the earth deep, 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 and gets water up to us. Water being always connected to the mystical, to your emotions, everything. I'm actually, the whole reading, I'm thinking of a specific friend of mine, which is funny. I'm not even trying to, but like all of this would apply to her, and I hope that it applies to you too. Or maybe it's something you still have to grow into. But either way, this being tapped into the well deep, deep, deep inside the earth signifies that you are not just in touch with your own emotions, the Page of Cups we have, but it is also a matter of you being in touch with deeper truths that not everyone can see, especially with the World card. It is a world, it is a card of completion, but it is also a card of the world means everything, you know, all the energies that surround us, the all encompassing truths that surround us are somehow more accessible to you than they are to others. And obviously, that comes with a lot of magic. And I think this goes really well with the rune that I drew for you, which was Sovolo, and that is the sun. I don't know how to pronounce it properly. I'm German, so I would say Sovulo, but maybe it's Sovulo. I don't know. Sharp S, soft S. Um, and this rune is kind of the icebreaker rune, because before it, in the rune alphabet, you have a lot of winter and a lot of ice runes. And because obviously these runes come from Nordic peoples, we have this idea of the sun being huge, because the winters were gruesome, and the sun is what saves everything, what breaks the ice, what brings insight, what brings warmth. And the sun essentially causes growth and prosperity. And I feel like you have this effect on others, that you are able to bring positivity and insight and um, but also justice, like an understanding for social justice to those people, but in a very positive way, not in a way where you yell at them and you're like, you're doing everything wrong and you're a terrible person, but more in the sense of you need to do it in a positive way so people actually listen, and you know that, so you do it like that. And yeah, that's the rune I have for you. And I think remembering as well that you have the power to bring growth and prosperity through that positiveness is something very, very meaningful with this rune. So remember that magic that you have. This reading, I feel like you know most of this, but it's a huge green flag for you to say you are really like that, because I know how it is sometimes. Us spiritual people were like, am I really that tapped in, or am I just delusional? Am I really that spiritual, or am I just going nuts? And this reading is telling you, yes, you're on the right path, and your magic lies within helping others see deeper truths that you see, helping others see injustices in the world. And that is where you find meaning, where you find purpose, and where you find magic. Because at the end of the day, magic is that feeling that your life makes sense. You are here for a reason. And then everything fucking feels magical. I can tell you that. So let's lastly draw a goddess card for you that you can take with you, a goddess you can research or just look into if you feel like, or maybe talk to, because I had the magic card with you, like communing with entities or with other physical people, and this queen this queen, this goddess might be for you. Oh, we have Eoster, New Beginnings. I think that is the same. She's kind of connected to Ostara, is she not? Is she not? If you want to know more about her, let me know in the comments and I will tell you more, because I have a little guidebook that I can read from, but I don't want to go too deep into that. So if you want to know more about her, write it in the comments. I will tell you. It is about new beginnings, which is exciting, and has that energy of fertility and newness, which kind of mirrors the Empress that we saw as well. So, once again, saying that your creativity and that your ability to bring people together spiritually or physically is a great, great gift and is very magical. And that is really where your magic lies. And I feel like you don't even need to awaken it. You just need to admit that it's there and be even more present with that ability that you have to see clearly, see deeper truths, shed light on those deeper truths for the people around you, and also bring more justice into this world through that. So thank you so, so much for watching. If you do want a private reading, I have them on anyaesma.com, my website, and also I have a Patreon. If you want to join that, all of the links are down in the comments with more journaling prompts, affirmations, and all of that good stuff to help you on your path to more connection with yourself. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one, Group 2. Welcome, Group 3, to your reading. Let's look at how to awaken your magic, how to find more purpose, how to find more meaning in your life. I have read a lot, so I do need to take a sip of water. I should have done that before. But you can use that time to drink a little bit as well. So, we're going to jump right into the reading and ask, what existing part of your life can you find more magic in? Because sometimes we forget how magical the things that surround us are. And this card is going to reveal maybe where you have forgotten the magic a little bit and you need to see it again. So let's see. Magic, magic, magic. You can take a deep breath as well. You can journal as well. Take notes as I'm speaking. I feel like it's this card. And of course, you can also draw cards alongside me if you feel like it. Wow, interesting that I had this card with a second group as well. So here we have the 6 of discs, but I feel like it has a bit of a different meaning than with group 2, because the 6 of discs can be about social justice and, equilibrium, but it can also be about gifts. It can be about donations. It can be about doing things for others. And I think this card is asking you in 2 ways to see more magic around you. The first way is the things that you do for others, and that this very much so has a magical meaning. That even if maybe not everyone appreciates what you do as much as you would wish they would, it is still a magical thing that you are just doing it for them, and it is something that gets repaid by the balance of the universe, that you are putting in so much effort for others. At the same time, this is asking you to see the magic around you when other people do things for you. This card is kind of making me feel like you are a giver. And if you are a bit of an over giver, maybe, as many of us are, you might tend towards thinking, I'm always the one giving, nobody else is doing anything, I'm doing all the work. And I think it's time that you see that other people also do things for you, and find more magic in that and more fulfillment in the give and receive of the world rather than just in the giving. I want to get more specific on that, so I'm going to draw a second card on what the 6 of discs is really about. All right, so Oh, we have the Queen of Cups. She's come up quite a lot in the other readings as well. And with the Queen of Cups, I feel like this idea of giving, sorry, I've already spoken for like half an hour, so my throat is saying hi. So the Queen of Cups is all about giving emotional or emotional exchange, but also giving emotionally to other people. And with the six of discs, I feel like you would like more of an exchange rather than just the giving. And I want to very early on mention the rune that I drew for you. It is Thurisas, and Thurisas means thorn, but it also means giant because the giants were basically the villains in the Nordic people's mythology. And this rune is kind of like an obstacle. It is kind of outside chaos surrounding you and you feeling like this isn't fair. It can be especially about corporations or like big faceless entities, kind of not treating you fairly in a way. And that might be a feeling that you have right now. And also, this rune stands for a mindset of being the victim. And especially if you are an overgiver, there is a high chance that, as I said, you are kind of seeing yourself as the victim of everybody because you are giving and giving and giving so much, especially in an emotional way. Now, one thing you do need to see is that other people might not be able to repay you in the same coin. They might not be able to repay you in the same emotional exchange, the same, let me take care of you, let me read your mind, let me take care of your emotions, let me co regulate with you, let me calm down your nervous system. All of those might be things that are not really the magical strengths of the people around you, but that doesn't mean that they don't give to you. And I want to go more into that so that maybe you can get out of this mindset of, oh, I'm doing so much for everyone and everyone is doing nothing for me or not doing that much for me. So let's see what other people are giving you that you might not be able to see so clearly because it's not something you generally give to others. You give emotional safety, you give emotional regulation, you give a listening ear, a shoulder to cry on. That's all the things you give. But maybe other people um, cannot give you that. So let's see what other people give you. I feel like it's this one. Ooh. We have the work card. So you see a person sitting here and doing physical labor. I don't know how you say this in English. I don't know how you say it, like making fabric. And I feel like, oh, loom is the word. They're working on a kind of weird looking loom. So I feel like the people around you are doing very like specific physical things for you and taking work off of your plate that you might not even be perceiving. You might not even be noticing that. And as I'm saying it, you're probably gaining awareness of it and gaining more awareness of what physical labor people do for you because you are doing a lot of emotional labor and they are doing physical labor. If you're sitting there and you're like, nope, people aren't doing as much physical labor as I'd like them to, and I would appreciate it if they did, then that is also a sign for you. Then that in order to unlock more magic in your life, more connection with yourself, more purpose, you need to create that balance. You need to create that equilibrium of you are giving, but you also want to receive without necessarily having to ask for it all the time. So, having an honest talk with the people that you feel like you give a lot emotionally to, whether it's a partner, people at work, family, friends, anyone, try to have a talk with them about the physical things that you might want in return that would make your life easier. And yes, life is give and receive. It's not give and take. It's not that if you give something, you're allowed to take something from someone else. It's not that if you give a lot, you are suddenly entitled to them giving you something back. That's not how it works. But of course, life is to a degree transactional. So it's important to realize that you might need to ask for it a little bit. And if that cannot be fulfilled, if you do not receive anything back from people without having to ask all the time, then you might not be giving to the right people. You might be giving your emotional labor not to the right people, and you need to change something. Change your boundaries around how much you give them, because sometimes, as soon as you start giving less to someone, they won't even notice because maybe they never asked you for it and they never needed it. Of course, we delude ourselves into thinking they will notice and they will feel it once I'm withdrawing it. But sometimes they don't, and sometimes that creates more of an equilibrium in the connection where you're like, "Oh, actually I feel better now because I'm not overgiving, and what the other person, what I'm receiving from them is now enough to make me not feel like I'm giving, giving, giving and not getting anything." So that is something to think about with your magic. Okay. Now let's talk about how you can create more magic around you. I already kind of did just now, but let us ask the cards again. In general, I would say stronger boundaries, looking at the giving and receiving fairness aspect for sure, and not seeing yourself as the victim in all of this, because you do have a lot more control than you think over who you give what to. So how can you create more magic around you right now? Let's talk about that. Ooh, it's kind of exactly what I said. It's the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords, of course, is all about boundaries. It's about being able to verbalize your emotional needs, your boundaries, where your limits are, being able to rationalize what your physical limits are, what your emotional limits are. So think about that. And funnily, with a rational mind, we can bring more magic into our lives, because if you use your mind to create more space for magic by setting more boundaries with people, then that's a good thing. Then you have more magic, even though you started in the mind. You started with a really honest, weighing of what do I need more of? What do I need less of? And where are my boundaries? Where are my limits? So let's draw another oracle card to kind of go deeper into that idea of the Knight of Swords. What direction might you need to think in? I think that was not a grammatically correct sentence. What direction are you thinking in with this Knight of Swords? Home. Interesting. Home. So you have a person sitting in a terrarium, essentially a glass house with plants in it. So with the Knight of Swords, I think this is the idea that your home sometimes doesn't feel safe to you because you feel like you're doing a lot of emotional labor within your home, in some kind of context within your home. It could be your physical home, like a partner that you live with, or it could also be where your feeling of home lies. Especially during this time in December, you might be going home to your family, who you might consider your home, or even if you don't, your family might be your home, unrelated to Christmas or any kind of celebration. You might consider your siblings, your parents, your grandparents your home, and you somehow feel like there's a need for more truth in relation to these people. There's a need for more truth. And that truth will bring more magic in your life by making more space for you, more space for your own creativity, your thoughts, your feelings. your spiritual routines, maybe even your journaling, your meditation with a nice lit candle. You need more space for that in order to feel that magic. And you cannot walk around feeling like a victim and being like, nah, it's everybody else's fault that I don't have time for my spiritual stuff because I'm doing so much labor for them. Nobody is forcing you to do that labor. You might feel like you are being forced to do it because nobody else is, but there's two truths. One, maybe nobody needs to do that labor and things will still go smoothly. And if you cannot believe that, think about why you cannot believe that without your input, things will not go right. Why do you think that? And also, I think I forgot what second thing I wanted to say. I had it so clear in my mind. So, yes, you might need to jump in as much as you think you need to. I want to go into what magical strength lives in you as well, and that others see in you, and that maybe you can appreciate a bit more as well. But yes, to bring more magic into your life, it's important that you understand you're not a victim of your circumstances. You can set boundaries, especially within the home, as it looks like. You are fully able to do that, and I believe in you. And people are not going to be as pissed at you if you communicate it honestly and say that it's taking a toll on you as you may think. They will not be as pissed. It will not be as much of a break as you think it is. So try it. Now, what magical strength lives inside of you that others see but you maybe don't? I feel like it's these two. Hmm. Ooh, okay. We have the Magician and we have the Nine of Swords. And this is like so crystal clear to me that other people admire your ability to give comfort even in the most hardest of times. The most hard of times, the hardest of times. You know what I mean. During the hardest times, you are there and you bring comfort to other people because the Magician is all about making the best of what is around you and being ultimately empowered. And the Nine of Swords, sorry, is of course all about um, difficult experiences, very, very deep emotions of grief, of fear, of difficulty. And you are able to handle that essentially or especially for others. For yourself, that's on a different sheet of paper. Sometimes our own issues are difficult, but with other people, you are able to help them alchemize their emotions and to sit with them and help them in such a strong way and to them leaving more positively. And that is a magical strength that lies within you that you also have access to for yourself. I feel like often we treat others so differently than ourselves. We've heard that a million times. If someone else is crying, you try to comfort them, you try to be there for them. If you might be crying on your own, you're like, I need to solve this, I need to stop crying, and I need to get it together. And I think these cards are reminding you that your magical strength to help other people when they are when they're in a difficult period is something that you can give to yourself too. So gentle parent yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to those parts of you that are feeling big emotions. Be kind to that part of you that might be crying. And also see how you treat other people and treat yourself that way. Pour that stuff, that labor that you feel like that everyone else is getting from you, pour that into other people as well. That's really what we have with the Magician and the Nine of Swords here. And then lastly, I want to draw a quick goddess card for you to look at what goddess might be helping you on this path of, awakening your magic by setting more boundaries and pouring into yourself a little bit more, but also stopping to see yourself as a victim. Stop seeing yourself as a victim. And goddesses can help you with that a lot because a lot of the time, goddesses are all about empowerment. All right, so let me just draw one. I feel like it's this one. Ooh. We have Aphrodite, of course, the Greek goddess of love. This card, of course, says self love because it's so wholesome. And I feel like that's really what we're talking about here. We're talking about self compassion and self love needing a little bit of strengthening within you so that you don't feel like you're just giving your magical ability to help people through difficulties to everyone else and not to yourself. Give it to yourself, take care of yourself, maybe even commune with Aphrodite or read about her to get more insight into that and gain more understanding. All right, that's it for you. If you want a more private reading, a more specific reading, I also have a shop where you can purchase a tarot reading with me. And also, I have a Patreon if you want more journaling prompts, affirmations, general card readings, more blabbings of mine. You will find that on Patreon. All the links are below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Welcome, group 4, to your reading. If you chose the last pile, the fourth pile, you're here with me now, and we're going to look at how to awaken your magic, how to align more with your purpose, how to feel more magical and more excited about every day. So let's draw the first card, and that is asking what existing part of your life has more magic than you might realize. How can you find more magic um, in that part of your life? Take a few deep breaths, be here with me. You can also take notes if you want. You can also draw cards alongside me to make it more specific to you. So let's look at what existing part of your life you can find more magic in. I feel like it's this card. I always kind of go by the energy when I pick one. Ooh, interesting. We have the Hierophant. I will draw a clarifier from my oracle deck about this. But the Hierophant, here it is kind of a tree-like figure person that is shielding some people like that look like angels below it, and those people cannot reach the fruit. So let's draw a clarifier card. What existing part of your life you can find more magic in? With the Hierophant, we have structures, bigger structures that surround you, bigger systems that surround you, that you are living within. So sometimes people say it's about religion, but it can really be about anything. You don't have to be in a sect for the Hierophant card to be meaningful for you. It could also be about your work, for example, and what kind of values are lived at work. But it can also be a lot of other things. We have the Connect Oracle card to make the Hierophant more clear here. So, what existing part of your life can you find more meaning in and more magic in? I feel like you might need to appreciate a bit more that you are finding many connections to people, but also maybe to other entities, to spiritual guides that are on the same spiritual path as you and believe the same things, because the Hierophant can also be about what you believe in. And the Connect card is telling me that you are very, very connected to what you believe in, and you connect with others on that basis. And that is not a given. Other people have it very hard to find people to connect with about their beliefs. Because especially in the spiritual bubble, not everyone believes the same things, and you might not be vibing with someone who calls himself spiritual as well. But if you are not vibing with this at all, and you're like, I don't really know a lot of people that have the same beliefs as me, then I think this card is more about, if you don't know others who have the same beliefs, it is all the more impressive that you hold those beliefs true to your heart and that you are so connected with those beliefs that you have. And I think that's where a lot of magic and meaning is, because those beliefs don't come from nowhere. And appreciating that more, because we believe the things we believe, and we're just like, yeah, it is what it is. I believe in them. but why do you believe in them, and how did you come to believe in them? And how come that you are finding so much meaning in it? And I think there's more magic in that than you might realize, in the reflection about your own beliefs. So, this is something that I would recommend, to sit down and really think about why you believe the things you believe, and even really write down what you believe. So, let me draw the second card, which is, what is the most magical thing in your life right now? Like right now. Whether you see it or not. Let's see. Let's take this one. Three of Wands. Okay, once again, we have a little bit of a community energy. Very interesting. Reminds me of the second group that also had similar, like magical get togethers. With the Three of Wands, we have a card of being in a safe support system and being able to delegate tasks to others, being able to talk honestly with others, and just having a general connection with the people around us. So I feel like this is really mirroring what we saw here, that your spiritual beliefs are bringing in connections that protect you. And that's why I want to talk about the rune that I drew for you at the beginning, before I started this reading, because it is Algis. And the rune of Algis means protection. I mean, literally, it means elk sedge like the plant, and elk like the animal. Nobody really knows why it means that, like what the meaning of elk sedge is supposed to be. Nobody knows. But generally, this rune was used as one of the strongest, if not the strongest, protection runes. So it is just a straight line and then two little arms going up like a Y, kind of. And I think that with all of the cards that I'm seeing here, is that your belief system and the people that surround you are giving you so much more protection and magic than you think. And sometimes we take these things for granted, but other people feel very unsafe in their beliefs. They feel very, shaky. Do I really believe that? Nobody else does. I don't know. Am I even safe to express those beliefs to the people around me? Maybe if you have some more witchy beliefs and you live in a very Christian environment, you might not feel so safe. And I feel like you need to appreciate that you do have safe spaces that feel very protective over you, whether that is your spirit team or the physical people around you. But that is really the most magical thing going on in your life right now, and you should not take it for granted. But let's talk about the exciting stuff, which is how you can create more magic in your life, and how you can, find more magic, or not necessarily find. That's more what this was about, the cards before. This is really about how you can create more magic, how you can use the powers that you have to bring more magic and more meaning and more spice into your life and feel more inspired and good and all of that. Group 4, let's see. How can you create more magic around you? Take these two. Oh, damn. We have a lot of pages and queens and just a lot of court cards in all of these readings. So we have the Page of Discs and we have the Queen of Discs. And I feel like this means that you have a bit of a process with taking care of your own body that you might be struggling with. Because we are here with the Page of Discs and it's kind of walking towards the Queen of Discs, I feel like this is mostly about basic things. Like sometimes things like showering might be difficult to you. Things like brushing your teeth, you might forget to do that. Things like washing your clothes or washing your bedding, you might not be doing that so often. Working out, physical exercise for your health, you might not be able to prioritize that so much at the moment. And sometimes when we think about magic, we forget that magic is always rooted in the body. And it makes such a difference to take a shower and to, cleanse your body. It makes such a difference to wake up your muscles and work out, because it just creates more of, just more energy, more physical energy within you. And these cards kind of seem like you might be underestimating that, and you might be just thinking about magic in a very like, this is my belief system. This is the practices I do. These are the people I talk to. Maybe you even have a coven. This is kind of what it's like. These three cards, the Hierophant, the Three of Wands, and the Connect card, kind of make me feel like you have some sort of, I don't know, like a prayer group, but maybe witchy, a coven, or people you regularly talk to about your tarot readings, about your spirituality. And in your mind, that is what your spirituality is: your beliefs, your group that you engage with, your spiritual team. But it is also your physical body. It is all connected. And with the Page of Discs walking towards the Queen of Discs, we need to get to the Queen of Discs. In order to bring more magic into your life, you need to understand more about the energetics of how is your energy field feeling. Do you need to push something physically out of your energy field? Do you need to call something else into your energy field? Do you need to take a shower to help you cleanse? Do you need to work out more? Do you need to look into your health more? Because it is really no lie that in a healthy body lives a healthy mind. So consider that in order to create more magic in your life. Now, let's talk about a magical strength that you have. I will draw a card here. Or actually, do we want to go deeper into that? Do we want to go deeper into how you can create more magic around you? Let me draw another card for that question, because I feel like there's more. I feel like there's something else we need to discover here that is more specific. The Fool. Okay. I will draw one more from the Poesis Oracle. So we have basically taking care of your body. The basics of physical self-care need to maybe get a bit more meaning for you and a bit more importance, because they will bring magic into your life. And more specifically, we have the Fool, which is an energy of kind of a new beginning. And then we have Explore. Okay. The Explore card and the Fool card, of course, go together so well, like gold and silver. And I think this is telling me that maybe you have not have this is kind of similar to group 2, interestingly. You don't have a lot of thought into somatic exercise, and that's something you should maybe explore. It's something that is not really your thing. You are more into the higher witchy stuff, the higher spiritual stuff, and the beliefs and the groups and all of that, the workings. But somatics are really, really important, and it's something that is worth exploring for you so much right now. So start looking into that. I will also at the end draw a goddess card for you, and I feel like the goddess is going to support you in that exploration of your body. It could also, I said this in the other, sorry, that was my doorbell. I said this in the other video as well, that this might also be about erotic things. It might be about, exploring your body with someone else, one person, multiple people, whatever you're into. And that is also an important thing. So let's talk about that at the end again when we draw the goddess card that might be relevant for you. Now, what magical strength lives in you that you really need to know about right now, and that you can awaken within yourself, or that is already really strong within you, and that it's just good for you to hear about that strength? Let's see. So, as the magical strength that already lives inside of you, we have the King of Pentacles. And I think that's really interesting because it kind of, I mean, the knight is missing, but it kind of completes the family of court cards for the pentacles. And I feel like this means you're very good at telling other people to take care of their body. You're very good at giving other people health advice. But when it comes to yourself, that magic gets kind of diluted. When it comes to yourself, you're not as perceptive of what pains you might have, where you need to tune into your body more, how you can calm down your nervous system more. All of these things are very important when it comes to others, but for yourself, you kind of forget about them. So I think that magical strength of yours that you have about giving other people health advice or exercise advice or anything. Let me clarify that for a second. I want to go more into that. But that strength of yours, use it for yourself more. Okay. This deck is really hard to mix. I feel like I seem like such a bumbling idiot in this fourth group because I keep dropping things and stuff. All right. Celebrate. That's the card that I drew to kind of define the King of Pentacles more. So you're really good at organizing things for people to be around you, whether it's your spiritual team or physical people around you. You have a strong spiritual community, and you are kind of what gives this community stability. But that magic of being able to give others stability needs to come in handy for you more. You need to use that magical stability that you have for yourself more. Think about your own physical needs more and tune into that more. So let's draw a goddess card to look into that. And I feel like the interesting thing about the Algiers rune is also that it is also, it is a rune of protection, but it's also about warding yourself against unwanted influences and also about plant medicine and the protective properties of plants. So that might be something that could be useful for you to look into, that you feel more protected because you do magical workings with plants, maybe, or you use plants for your physical body. Could be, taking a bath with roses or lavender to calm yourself down more. And all of these things, I feel like that might be relevant. Okay, we have Pomona, and the meaning is plenty. So it is definitely a goddess of abundance because she has one of those I don't know what it is called in English, those horns that always are full of food and never get empty. It has a really, yeah, cornucopia. That is such a strange word in English, isn't it? I mean, it's obviously not English origin, but anyway, she's carrying a cornucopia, Pomona. So I feel like you could look into this goddess and also use her kind of as an inspiration for you to find ways to take care of your body better and show up for yourself in a more um, groundbreaking way. Because I feel like, of course, you take care of yourself, you take care of your hygiene, maybe, but there's more that you need to do for your somatic body. And she might be able to help you with that. So you can look into that. You can also comment. I don't want to read the whole little booklet that I have that describes her, but if you want more info on her, definitely comment under the video and I will give that to you. All right, that was it, group 4. I feel like you had a very interesting reading. And the magical part of it was mostly about, group magic, but also finding your own magic within your body and within taking care of your body and just making that more magical and not seeing a shower as something you need to do, seeing brushing your teeth as something you need to do, but seeing it as a magical act as well if you add intention to it. And that is how you can awaken more magic in your life right now and find more magic in the mundane and not necessarily be like, oh, I need to always, be in these group workings or do huge rituals or something, but it's also simple, mundane things that you can make magical. Thank you so, so much. I also have private readings that I offer on my website, anyaesma.com, and I have a Patreon. So if you want to join that for more affirmations, journaling prompts, and more tarot readings, feel free. I am happy to have you there. Thank you so, so much for watching this video, group 4, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.